to our Year of Morocco event. We're very happy to have you here. Although we've had lots of Year of Morocco events up until today, this is actually our second 5-part lecture series on Moroccan literacy, multilingualism, and education, which has been a collaborative effort by the College of Education and the library. Please raise your hand if you're on that wonderful committee. People know who you are. But other than that, we have a lot of other things going on, as you all know. So I'm going to ask Dan Carapa to say a few words about some of the other things and our study abroad update.
Yes, the main thing I wanted to know is there anyone who's signed up to go on the study abroad program to Morocco? No, okay. Well, sign up. We're going to have a special Year of Morocco class in the spring semester, and the students in the class have the opportunity to travel to Morocco over spring break. It's the cheapest study abroad program there is, I think, at KSU this year. With the scholarship, it's like $1,550, which is essentially the price of the plane ticket. So it's a great opportunity. Of course, we have all kinds of wonderful events all year on campus for you to learn about Morocco. So that's also a great way to be even that much more prepared to go to Morocco. So I think that's all that I want to say. I want to thank all the different people who are collaborating on all the different Year of Morocco events, especially today's event, and Dr. Hannouchi for coming to KSU.
Thank you.
With that, I would like to introduce Dr. Saeed Hannouchi. Dr. Hannouchi holds a PhD in Arabic and second language acquisition from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Currently, he is a preceptor of Arabic at Harvard University. Saeed has over 10 years of experience teaching Arabic as a second and foreign language at leading universities in the United States. His research interests include second language acquisition, intercultural communication and competence, and education in multilingual contexts. His research focuses on language education in Morocco, as well as native speakers and Arabic learners' perceptions and expectations of conformity to Arab cultural norms and implications for development of intercultural communicative competence. The title of his talk today is Multilingualism and Educational Policy in Morocco, Pedagogies of Teaching Arabic. Let's welcome Dr. Hannouchi to KSU.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you for this nice. Yes. So today I'm going to be talking about multilingual experience or multilingual education in Morocco, and we will go through some historical context, and we walk through the paths that led to a multilingual situation in Morocco. But before that, I would like to ask you first, what do you know about this topic? And you can share with me some of your experiences or some of your information. Anyone sharing? Yes?
I know they speak, the official language is Arabic, and
Okay.
they do French in school, right? And then English. So 3 languages that most people know.
Okay.
I think there's one more language. I'm not sure, but yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
Sounds good. Thank you. Any additional? Yes, please.
I know very, very little, but the only ideas I think I have of Morocco are from The Alchemist. You know the book?
Mm-hmm.
The Alchemist.
Okay.
It's a novel, so very.
Yes.
I was wondering if it's misconceptions, really.
Okay. So that leaves some space for me to share with you guys. Yeah. Any other? Okay. Well, today we will walk very short. So bear with me. We'll walk through historical path to cultural multilingualism, language policy, post-colonial till now, our present time, Arabization challenges, language of instruction, and by the way, we are now, this talk or this topic, it's the current topic in Morocco. Like just last night, 2 articles just talking about this topic. 2 days ago, a lot of articles, a lot of discussions, broadcast programs, they're talking about this topic. So we are talking about a heated debate that's going on now. So hopefully it will give you a gist and keep you informed what's going on in Morocco. And we'll talk about the strategic vision for Moroccan education, what's been done, the reforms that has been done since 2000 until now, and their vision to 2030. I just want to walk with you, about Morocco in general, and then we can go to our topic. Morocco, as you see, it's in the northwest of Africa, and just looking at the position, geographical location of Morocco tells you it's in the center. It's the intersection between Europe, Africa, Middle East, and that's where we have this multilingual experience. It is hosting different cultures. It is it's considered as the gate to Africa and the gate to Europe. Like if you are here, which I was this summer, I stood in one of the mountains. You see Spain; it's close to you, so you can see the distance between these 2 continents or 2 countries. There must have some interaction. Some influence must have happened, and still happening now. And we have connection to the east, which is Middle East or North Africa in general, and Sub-Sahara. Geographically wise, this will tell you a little bit that you can expect that this place has a lot in terms of cultural and linguistic practices. Because Morocco, if you go there, you will find, and each city has its own uniqueness, and each city brings a different cultural facade or image. And that reflects in our practices of languages. So here are the languages spoken in Morocco. So in addition to what you said, Arabic and French and English, but we don't see most of the time. We don't see the Amazigh, which is the indigenous language of Moroccans. We have Moroccan Arabic, and that's the heated topics now. It's about this form of Arabic, and Hassaniya. We rarely hear about it, but Hassaniya is a dialect of Arabic dialect that's spoken in the south of Morocco and south of Mauritania, Mali. It's a dialect on itself. It shares some characteristics with standard Arabic here. And we have French. So French and Spanish due to colonization or protectorate existence in Morocco. So we have these 2 languages practiced and influencing the multilingual scene in Morocco. So, historical path. Amazigh is the indigenous language of Moroccans. In 680, you have the Arabs who moved to North Africa, and they brought with them the language and the religion. And they established the first state in this language, and the language they brought with them is Classical Arabic. Again, when we hear that there is a form of language brought to North Africa, even at those days, there were varieties of Arabic. Spoken Arabic and the standard Arabic, they existed along each other for a long time, even pre-Islamic period. There are, linguistic historical studies that shows that, not only one forms Classical Arabic, but there are other varieties spoken even before the coming of Islam. So it's very important. Arabs brought with them the language, and part of being a Muslim is to use the language, to read Quran, and being a Moroccan, part of it, you have to speak the language. So North Africans or Amazigh embraced Arabic because that's called a code to enter Islam. So Amazigh have adopted the language, and then you have a mix of 2 languages. We have the standard Arabic or Moroccan Arabic that mixes both of them. In 1911, Spain occupied Spain occupied south of Morocco and north. So this is Spain, and this is Spanish Morocco. So it's here where we have Spanish. It's spoken or is influencing the public scene more than just in the mid of Morocco. Mid of Morocco was colonized or was considered as a protectorate of French. So French is widely spoken and seen in the public sphere. This is just some pictures I took this summer that you can tell, if you are in Casablanca or in the mid-Morocco, all signs are in French or Arabic, both languages. I was surprised to see that, oh, wow, we have Spanish. I never seen it in Casablanca or Rabat or Marrakesh or even the south of Morocco. But once you go to the north, you can tell you have a different linguistic practice here. And French doesn't exist in these signs. I've taken it in the old Medina or the old city of Tetouan, and the French doesn't exist. You can tell that you are moving from different linguistic landscapes. So here is the linguistic practices or languages that overwhelm the public practice is Darija. Darija referring to Moroccan Arabic. Hassaniya. Hassaniya is an Arabic dialect. It does differ in terms of phonetic, phonological, and even syntactic, with standard Arabic. But it is part of Arabic. It shares a lot of similarities, grammatical and also lexical, a lot of words. Amazigh and MSA. Modern. I'm using here. I didn't use standard Arabic because the word standard it's a Western term. In Western linguists, they refer to a language that's mostly used as official language, as standardized. In Arabic, it's a different term. It's a Fusha. Fusha, it means the eloquent or clear language. This, in our context here in the States, mostly people use in literature MSA, Modern Standard Arabic. And this term has been coined by Western scholars. It's the language that's used in media and in TV, but it's a little different from the classical Arabic, the language used in religious research or scholarship. So here is the term that you will see most often here in the context of the United States. A lot of research are using this term, Modern Standard Arabic. Because here, the focus in communication, and we're looking to explore the world using communicative approaches, and we're not going to looking at the classical Arabic that uses complicated dictions and grammatical structures. Yeah, and you have the Spanish and French. They are used for different purposes, but we have French that's mostly overwhelmingly, recognized in administration and academia as well. First of all, Amazigh. So, you might heard the word Berber. It's a derogative term. Berber, barbarian, when the Europeans came to North Africa, found these people, and for them, they considered as barbarian. I'm not using that term, so wipe it out, don't use it. So the widely used term is Amazigh. Amazigh is the indigenous local people. And just some fun facts. This is a flag that's used by Amazigh in Morocco and across all north of Africa. It's recognized by all Amazigh speakers, different languages, by this flag. And what it means, Mediterranean, the sea, green, the land, and Sahara. And you have this symbol. Amazigh means free man, and Imazighan, the plural, free man in general. And it's surprising. I don't know what's the connection. I was watching a Viking movie, and the people, they have some necklaces using this same symbol. So I don't know what's the connection. And some historians that they said, the Amazigh, Part of their origin is from the Vikings, because the Vikings have raided north of Africa. So maybe that's that. I don't want to get myself included in the history. I don't know much about it, but this is something I have seen it in Vikings culture. It's a spoken language. Amazigh is spoken. It's the native language, but it's spoken as a first language by about 1/3 of the population. I use the reference because I don't want to take responsibility of how many who speaks it. It's a very political, it's very sensitive to say how many people or what's the number of population in Morocco. It's very sensitive in Morocco, so it's not even official documents. It's not clear. But I use this reference just for the sake, just to give us a picture. It's about 1/3 of the population as a first language. Not because we have Amazigh speakers who grow up speaking bilingual, speaking Moroccan Arabic and Amazigh, but as a first language, it's about 1/3. Amazigh, is it one language? No, it's more than that. It's about, if you can look at it from the perspective of Amazigh in North Africa, there are 12. In Morocco, includes more than 3, but the major ones are 3. Tashlhit, it's spoken in the west, southwest, Tamazight, and Tarifit. So these are 3 major languages that are spoken by Moroccans. And why we are focused on this? Because we learned that by 2001, so 2001, Morocco has established, or I would say the king of Morocco, when he took over power in 1999, one of the reforms he took, cultural and social reforms, is recognizing the Amazigh, because before, Amazigh wasn't recognized as an official language or even cultural heritage as a part of the Moroccan cultural heritage. But the king had a vision, of recognizing the group, but still there are some pressures from the public, especially Amazigh activists, to recognize Amazigh, the language and culture, part of the Moroccan heritage. In 2003, it was codified. Chefenagh script has been codified as the alphabet of the Amazigh. And here are the alphabets of Chefenagh. It has no relationship to Moroccan script, to Arabic script, but it's mostly I think to one of the European languages. It shares some of the characteristics in terms of the alphabet, but not to Arabic script. So the activists made sure to not to associate their culture or their language with Arabic. They want to separate. They want to make that the difference. We are not Arabs. We are not speaking Arabic. It's Berber, and you have this script. And in 2012, the new modified constitution, it came as a result of Arab Spring. Morocco had to respond to what's going on in the Arab Spring, and the king or the monarchy had to to calm down the atmosphere and recognized Amazigh as an official language along with Arabic. Again, other Amazigh scholars, they have criticized this process. When you standardize a language and you only focus on 3 dialects, you ignore the diversity. Even there are other groups who speak different dialects, but combining these 3 into one script and one language, so a lot of characteristics has been ignored just because you have to standardize to one language, and it's regarded as a threat to local qualities of each language. Still, now there are scholars who are considering the codification into one language and one script. It's a threat, not an advancement of the language. And now it's Amazigh is taught in public schools, mostly in areas where it's spoken. So in east and north of Morocco, a lot of schools, and I think by 2012 we had almost 4,000 schools, public schools, offering Amazigh. Even universities, Ibn Zohr in Agadir, southwest of Morocco, they offer the first graduate program of Amazigh studies. And the first PhD was introduced in this school. But now other universities in Fas and Wajda in the north, they have Amazigh studies programs. And there are students who study the language. I'm not saying it's bright, because a lot of Amazigh activists, this is not enough, because it's recognized, it's done, but the outcomes are still far from expectations. Teachers don't receive good training, resources are less, and even the attitude towards this language is still not that great. So a lot of parents, even Amazigh parents, don't want their kids to spend time on learning a language that's not going to serve them on the educational level or professional level. So now, once you hear the shift talking about let's make our education better, and the Amazigh activists, they wake up to like, no, you're saying about Arabic, Amazigh needs to be promoted, and it's part of the constitution. We have to respect both. So there is that conflict and tension, which language to give priority. This is just a map showing us where these three dialects of Amazigh. You have the Tamazight and Tashilhit and the Tarifit. They say that these native speakers, these are the two dialects, they are mutually intelligible. Speakers can understand each other, not 100%, but there are some similarities. But if you look at the third one, Tarifit, it's totally different. And I see Amanda, nodding. I know you can't understand. And there is one famous activist in Morocco. He's he's so known for his promotion and the fight for the language. But when he was invited to give a talk in this area, nobody understood, and he had to speak in Arabic. It's totally different. And think about it. If you want to standardize, if you want to make recognize what, to combine it, you're posing a threat to your language, not serving your language. Because if you want to combine it, you want to lose a lot of characteristics of your language. Where it's visible in public spaces, it's highway boards, and you can see here Arabic, Amazigh script, official buildings. This is the Institute for Amazigh Culture. You have Arabic, Amazigh, and French. Science for cities, and there is a channel, the national channel of Morocco. There is one in Arabic, one for Quran, one for sports, and one for Amazigh. So there are broadcasts in Amazigh. Now there are a lot of movies and TV shows in Amazigh language. It's better. It's if you compare it back like 20 years or just 10 years, it wasn't. You will not see Amazigh in the public sphere. It's recognized now, and you have university, science. This is just overwhelmingly choose whatever fits your needs. So Arabic, Amazigh, and French. And notice with me that French exists, even though we don't talk about it. It's everywhere. Standard Arabic. I'm using this term referring to classical Arabic or modern standard Arabic. I share with you this map because when you talk about standard Arabic, it's not only about the language, but the connection to the extended Arabic-speaking countries. And that's very important in our discussion about Arabic in general. We have to consider the historical and also the geopolitical space that exists in it. Okay, so it's the official language, and it has been the official language since independence, 1962. But same time, it's the official language of 22 countries. So the standard Arabic that you use at school, the standard Arabic you hear on TV, the standard Arabic that the king gives speeches in, is the same used all across 22 countries. So that brings the connection between your country and the rest. It is taught and learned as through formal education. It's nobody's first language. So standard Arabic, the official language, is nobody's first language. Nobody, grow up speaking standard Arabic, but they learn it. It's learned and taught at school. It's used in most forms of published writing, as well as informal and speeches and media broadcasts. So, media, TV programs, you see standard Arabic. Moroccan Arabic, the Darija, it's different. It's more spoken than written. Moroccan Arabic is then non-official language. It's the first language for over two-thirds or a third of Moroccan population. So that's what Moroccans speak as a mother tongue, as their first language. In Amazigh populated areas, either they grow up speaking Amazigh or they grow up speaking both. So people or children, they grow up speaking the two forms, Amazigh and Moroccan Arabic. It's a language of popular culture and some works of literature and media. It's music, TV, like movies. Even now with some journal articles, they do mix. To the extent it's taken from economical benefits that when you integrate the dialects, you attract more readers to it. So it's kind of like inclusion perspective. And it's used in social and familial communication, as well as informal conversations in academic and professional settings. It has phonetic, morphologic, and lexical syntactic differences from standard Arabic. And it varies. This is the issue. It varies from region to region and across social lines too. So when you say standard Arabic, Moroccan Arabic, that doesn't mean you have one form. Same here in the States. The way how English is spoken in the South, it's a little, for me, it sounds different from the North. In Morocco, it's the same. If you are in Casablanca, and if you go to Marrakesh, people, they for sure, are you from Casablanca? They will say, are you from? Yeah. So accent and also word choice. So there are some differences, even names of objects, items, there are some differences. Now we have two forms. We have standard Arabic and Moroccan Arabic. And the question will be like, so what language do Moroccans use in their everyday life? Or normal people and educated, what form? This is a good question, because we have another form, and it's natural. It's natural that languages develop, change over time, and we have the educated form of Arabic. So even educated Moroccans, they don't tend to use purely, nobody tends to use purely standard Arabic. So there is a mix. There's a code switching from dialect to standard. And that brings, when you're addressing the public or the people, so you have to, to include your audience. And by using purely only standard Arabic, you might lose a lot of ears. So people wouldn't get your message. Where it's visible, again, billboards. Now, in order to attract regular Moroccans, so they use mostly the Darija, and these are written in Darija, al-Hamza. These are expressions in the dialect. And even in some newspapers, they use dialect too. It's mixed dialect. So this is the Maghris. It's very classical, conservative newspaper. But one of their articles, it's produced. They write it once a week. It includes parts of the region. So it's a part of they said we have to have our audience. We have different audience, and we want the audience to hear us, and we have to speak their language. Hassaniya. I'm not going to talk much about it, but just to show you the map. This is the pink side is where Hassaniya is spoken, south of Morocco here, and then you have Mauritania, part of Algeria, Mali, That's what is spoken. It's another dialect. It's not well known across the Arab world, but it's recognized in the constitution of Morocco that it's a part of the Moroccan heritage. Not an official, but part of the Moroccan heritage. Language policy, Arabization. So when Morocco got independence from in 1956, it took Morocco almost 8 years to recognize we have to have a language policy. And in 1962, Arabic was recognized as an official language. And the goal is we have to maintain our heritage, maintain our unity. And the unity was sought through one language. One language, one nation. I don't know, I think this is a common term in education. So Morocco sought to establish Standard Arabic as a symbol of Morocco's sovereignty and cultural identity. And the aim was to unify Moroccans through a common language. And that's what it means, that you had to sacrifice your linguistic diversity. You had to sacrifice Amazigh as part of the Moroccan heritage. And the fact that French was taken over, manipulating the educational scene, especially in the sciences and mathematics. Mostly were taught in French. And Standard Arabic during colonization was reserved only to religious scholarships and linguistic study. Oops, sorry. So Arabization was enacted in phases, almost 20 years, and to Arabize the whole system and to change the educational system into only Arabic, it has taken Morocco 20 years. And you can imagine that there might have been some challenges and problems in this process. So Arabic replaced French as the primary medium of instruction for all subject areas except French language subject. So primary and secondary school were Arabized, and the last subject was Arabized in 1985. But that policy hasn't touched the tertiary education or at the university level, higher education. So that poses a problem for Moroccans or for students. When you proceed your education in Arabic, and then after high school you are faced with the linguistic gap, you either drop, don't continue, or if you are rich, from a rich family, you have access to that French. So we have a social problem here. Only the able or those who are able to pursue their education in French are the ones who have access to higher education. So Arabic wasn't fully articulated in high school until 80s, which is 85 to be specific. And higher education was mostly in French. Overall, quality of education in Morocco described as inadequate qualifications and skills of graduates, absence of comprehensive and equitable school access. It took 20 years. What's the outcome? The outcome that students are not proficient, neither in Arabic nor in French. And those who passed this reform, which is Arabization, they served. On the one hand, they tried to unify the country, but at the same time, they have created that social gap, social disadvantage between the poor and the rich. Because only the ones who did it, they were rich, they were able to send their kids to France to study, and they are the ones who are controlling the politics in Morocco. And regular Moroccans, they are the ones who are in this ordeal. They are the ones who are experiencing these problems, and they are not going to fight for any positions or fight for their rights because they didn't have the means to study or to have a voice. And this is the World Bank have reports have sounded the alarm since 2000, And the last one was this report, 2014. The problem with Arabizing the curriculum and the materials in primary and secondary school was faced with a lot of challenges. And one of them is outdated and effective methods of teaching the language. So while the argument has made that Arabic is not able to carry out professional and academic research, they blame the language instead of the processes, instead of the teaching of the language. From pedagogical perspective, this is my where my eyes always is open, is looking at the pedagogy of teaching. So in general, I'm sure most of you are in the education. We are not only concerned about the outcome, also the process. So you can't just say at the end, this is the problem and Arabic was the problem. I'm more concerned, so what happens? What led us to here? Is just the language? So what's the process? What happened during this term of Arabizing the system? And I'm just sharing with you one of the assessment of one of the American pedagogists, Kristen Brustad. She is a co-editor of one of the textbooks used here in the States, Al-Kitab, and it just resonates with our discussion. And her statement, she said, the estrangement of Arabic speakers from formal Arabic often begins with the way it is taught in school, dominated by traditional ways of teaching that stress form over function and rely on examples largely divorced from real life. Memorization is stressed at the expense of comprehension. This kind of approach has led many young learners of formal Arabic to dislike the experience and consequently the language itself. So, the problem or the challenges that the Arabization policy has faced is widely attributed to the language itself rather than the process. And here in Brustad, assessment, I have gone. I grew up in Morocco. I went to school. This is what's happening. This is how it was when I was studying. So Arabic is taught as a language, as a form, rather than a way of communication, expression, and obtaining knowledge. So Arabs in general, if you talk to them about Arabic, always a sense of this is poetic language, and it's very concise. It's the dictionary is huge. It has a lot of synonyms. And people will brag about the lion has more than 20 synonyms, and love it has 14 or more synonyms. So people, they are very sensitive or very affectionate when it comes to standard Arabic because it's their language of of art and love, and that's not. We shouldn't look at it this way. We shouldn't look at it this way. So, we're teaching language not for, linguistic reasons as a form. We're teaching language, which has to serve our needs. And one of the needs is we need to speak it. So that's why the estrangement or the way how it's taught, the gap widens between standard Arabic and Moroccan Arabic, because Moroccan Arabic has, is a part of standard Arabic, but the gap widens because the way how we treated the language, it just distances, reality from, our imagination of the language. Inequality through language education. So access to French education led to success in tertiary education, namely sciences and technology. According to Bourdieu, Pierre Bourdieu, looking from his sociological perspective, he said that public schools are places for the reproduction of social classes. And what it means that, if you don't have the means to study a language that will serve you on the long term, then you are put in that side. The able and not able. The able, the ones who have access, they will study French, go to private school. They have even ways of traveling and continue their education abroad. But the ones who don't have that, the means, That's one of the disadvantages. So you're creating, a social class within education. And that didn't start only between Arabic and French. It started even during Arabic and Amazigh. So if you go back in the days when Arabic came to North Africa, who had access to Arabic? Only few had access. And even those who had access to standard Arabic, they were religious leaders. And they had expressed their power through using the language. So I am the knowledge person. I am the sheikh or the scholar. So you have to come to me to tell you something. And it created that gap between Arabic speakers and Amazigh. So Amazigh at the time didn't have access to Arabic, and it distanced them from obtaining the standard Arabic. So language of instruction, realities and complexities. Now, with this complexity in education, we know that always the blame is put on the language, standard Arabic, and some reports came, especially from the World Bank and other international organizations, that promote to use the first language as a medium of instruction in order, to avoid dropout, and also inclusion for girls who don't have access to school. It's a way of including and supporting their their way of expressing. And they found that standard Moroccan Arabic, it's a tool that people would find comfortable to express themselves. Standard Arabic is believed to pose a linguistic obstacle impeding success in school by many. This is where we are now. The debate is happening when this gentleman, Hannouchi, he proposed. He's just an activist. He's not a scholar. He's not a researcher, but he works in business, in advertisement, and he proposed to integrate the Rija as a medium of instruction. And guess what? Looking at the history we walked through, that created a conflict, because whenever you raise something that's going to affect the use of standard Arabic, so you are hitting our unity, our heritage, our religious background. And he has received a lot of criticisms, and his argument is that, why do we teach a language that's not the first language of everybody? So let's use this, the Rija as a medium of instruction. And in 2013, there was a program where this Hannouchi was put with Abdullah Al-Arwi. Abdullah Al-Arwi is a historian and a novelist who wrote both in French and Arabic, and he's a leading intellectual in Morocco. So they brought them together to give their points of view. What do you think about this, this proposition? And, I have a video so we can watch. And subtitles are.
فقط 3 أسئلة عن الطلاب. هل هذه المبادرة نافذة أي زايدة سوبرفلو ما معنى زايدة؟ أي واش ماشي هو الأمر المطبق حاليا؟ يعني حاليا في روضة الأطفال أي من 3 سنين ل6 واش المدرسة أو المعلمة أو المربية كتتكلم مع الطفل بلغة غير اللغة الدارجة. يعني يمكن يكون خطأ، ولكن السي عيوش غيقول لنا واش كاين ولا ما كاينش.
نسمعوا المجال سي غافر السي عيوش.
نكمل هذه وهذا. النقطة الأولى هي اللي قلت.
خلينا أستاذ باش ندخل نقطة بنقطة.
طيب.
إذا فهمت التساؤل الأول السي عيوش هو أنه المقترح ديالك زايد. علاش؟ يعني انه من الواقع واللي طبيعي واللي معمول به يعني في الفصول ديال الدراسه في المغرب كله، هو انه في السنوات الاولى المعلمات والمعلمين والمدرسين كيتواصلوا مع التلاميذ ديالهم باللغه الام، سواء الدارجه او الدارجات ولا اللي في شي بلاصه يعني اللي فيها اللسان الامازيغي. وبالتالي هذا المقترح ديالك علاش
سامح لي كيتواصلوا هكا بحال كتكلم عليك بالدارجه شيء ولكن تدريس الدارجه في هذه السنوات الاولى لغه الام مهمه ماشي عيب واش نقالها. انا هاد التوصيات ماشي نشأتهم ولا كتبتهم، لا فقط دابا تنتكلم عليهم لكن في رئيس ذاك اللجنه. داك التوصيات شكون اللي قالهم؟ ناس متخصصين باللغات. كاين معنا شي ناس منهم سي مفاوي وسي بيسي وشوكيلي، هادو معنا في اللجنه متخصصين في اللغات، يقراو علوم اللغات وتيقريوها وينصبوا عليها وكل شيء. كنا ناس من الاجانب جبناهم ومن اليونسكو اللي تكلم على هذا الشيء. وهذا المشكل هذا ما طرحش فقط في المغرب، في بلدان كثيره. تدريس باللغه الام في السنوات الاولى في المدرسه الاوليه لو بريسكولير وفي المدرسه الابتدائيه سنتين 3 سنوات، هذا الشيء مزيان بزاف لصالح الاطفال. لا
ما كاينش الان.
لا ما كاينش هادشي. سامح لي انا ما قريتش، وكان المدارس كلها تيتكلموا بعض، تيبداو باللغه العربيه فصحى، ولكن تيتكلموا ملي تيكونوا السلام عليكم جلس واخا، ولكن هذا الشيء جلس وهذا كاين مازال اللغه العربيه ما كاينش ذاك التواصل. سامح لي بستان شتى المدارس وصلتها وسط كثير من المدارس، لانه حنا عندنا في جميع انحاء المغرب عندنا اكثر من 430 وهاد المدارس ودار الطوال واللي عشت فيهم ومشيت شفتهم كلهم شفناهم، وشفنا المشكل الاطفال علاش يهربوا من المدرسه. هذا الهدر المدرسي الكبير اللي تنوصلوا 350,000 كان 400 كان تيقولوا 350 كل وحده.
So I'm gonna pass this.
صحيح كان الناس تشوف اللغه الوسطى كانت اللغه الحضاريه بمستوى خام.
So they went to the street, to get, the perspective of teachers.
إذ يحرص هذا المعلم ذو 31 سنة في أسلاك التعليم الابتدائي على التواصل مع المتعلمين باللغة العربية.
المفعول المطلق كما قلنا هو موضوع الظاهرة التركيبية لهذا الأسبوع، فكلمة صحيحة نعرفها. المفعول المطلق يؤكد معنى الفعل. أعتمد في تعاملي على مسألة اللغات أعتمد على وثيقة أساسية جدا هي الميثاق الوطني للتربية والتكوين، بحيث أن هذا الميثاق في دعامته الثانية ركز بصراحة وصبر بصراحة على استعمال اللغة العربية كلغة أساسية ومهمة وأولى في التدريس. تقديري الشخصي وركز كثيرا على استعمال اللغة الوسطى. اللغة الوسطى هي استعمال الدارجة المنقحة واستعمال اللغة العربية الراقية والمزج بينهما يعطينا لغة وسطى، لغة جميلة. كيف في الموضوع الأخير أعضاء التوالد عند الحيوانات والودة. وتكتب النشاط العلمي.
أنا كنفهم حيتاش عادي كيشرح لينا أستاذ شي دروس كنفهم. مسلم. بس كيشرح لينا مزيان.
ننتقل إلى مستوى الثاني ابتدائية. التواصل هنا مع المتعلم يمر عبر لغة واحدة، اللغة العربية.
انتبهوا إلى السبورة. عندنا الجملة التالية: كتب الولد الدرس بالقلم. أعطيكم سؤال: ماذا كتب الولد؟ أعيد الجملة كتب الولد الدرس. 34 سنة ديال العمل لم أستعمل اللغة الدارجة. أرفضها بتاتا. كيف سيقرأ؟ كيف سيكتب؟ ما هي الكفايات التي سيصل إليها؟ حنا كنعرفوا بأن الرفع من المردودية التي تسعى إليه الحكومة يسعى إلى.
So this gives us how people respond to it, but at the same time, I'm just examining the video. First of all, the discussion between the two, the one who proposed integrating the dialect, he speaks only dialect. The other one, even the one who is promoting standard Arabic or is against with this proposition, he mixes. So there is no standard Arabic, purely standard Arabic, but they use that educated Arabic, mixing both of them. And he himself used one French word in his discussion. When we come to the video of the teacher, they said they promote. No, they said we want standard Arabic to be the official, to be the medium of instruction. But I'm looking at his lesson. He's teaching very complicated concepts. Like that's the problem. You see, we have that, critical, but at the same time, what you do, it's serving disadvantage. It's doing disadvantage not only to the kids, but to the language itself. You're making it just unpleasant experience to the kids. And he disagreed totally with Abdullah Al-Arabi. He disagreed with him, and not only him, with the public, especially the conservative. The public sphere just didn't like his. Why? Because we have to date back to the history. Why? Because when you talk about dialect, and when you want to promote dialects at the expense of standard Arabic, that was the French agenda. The French protectorate started, and they showed interest to dialects. They have produced dictionaries, and they were planning to make Moroccan Arabic as the official language of Morocco. And that was the goal, and that's French played in Algeria too. We have to drive a wedge between Arabs and Amazigh. Divide and rule, that's how it looked. So any attempt to promote dialect, it's considered as a threat to unity, not only within Morocco, but even across the Arab-speaking world. So you are trying to drive us to different practice that will divorce us from the history, from the others, from part of the Arab as a whole. Okay. And this Ayush, he with his resources, and when I've seen actually personally, when I've seen or heard about his proposition, I just was suspicious. I said, like, there is smoke, there is a fire somewhere. It's something is cooking, and I knew that something is done behind the scene, and he's just trying to let someone not from the official to do it, let someone not official person to do it. And he produced, along with a group of people that he didn't show who are these people. Are they like truly linguists, or just they develop a dictionary in Moroccan Arabic? And we have a lot of dictionaries that are produced by Westerners, by French, by Americans. Americans have done research in Moroccan Arabic, but this is the first book that looks at Moroccan Arabic. And I'm not against with it, because still it's a language we speak. We have to preserve it. It's a part of the culture. We have to preserve it. We have to write its grammar and dictionaries. But what he's proposing is very tricky.
So written Arabic and written Darija are the same form, same script.
Same script, but
the pronunciation is different.
It's different. Darija includes French, Spanish. It has some words and Amazigh too. So Darija is the outcome of the multilingual situation. Darija, it combines other languages, including Amazigh, French, and Spanish. Like cuisine, cucina. So, we have bicicleta, bike. Yeah, automobile. So a lot of words are, adopted into the language. And that's why a lot of Moroccans, they look at it as this distorted form of Arabic. Because standard Arabic has its own standard form, sayyara, for car. So it's the distorted. Arabic or Moroccan Arabic is considered as the low variety. You have the high variety, low variety, or the formal, informal. Standard Moroccan Arabic is always regarded as informal, and that's not just to be sure, that's not the norm, or that's not the talk of every Moroccan. Because a lot of Moroccans, especially the ones who are not in the academia environment, they said, like, we need Moroccan Arabic to be taught. See, only the educated who view Moroccan standard Arabic as necessary and it needs to stay as medium of instruction. There are conflicts, but the majority of Moroccans don't appreciate this this proposition. I'm just going to skip this video. Pedagogical practices. So does that mean like he's doing something, he's proposing something new? No. The actual practice in Moroccan schools, Moroccan Arabic is used as a medium of instruction. It's used as a tool to to study Arabic. It's the practice. But here, when a lot of people, especially this study, for example, this Lotfi 2017, he did case study. He sat in a lot of classes and he observed what's the language used, and he said even in French classes, Darija is used to transmit, to study French. It's used as a tool. And let's not go far, or like I learned about here in Georgia. The experience here in the States with Ebonics. And in the 60s, I don't know where is the, DeKalb County. It's here, it's not that far. So in this county and also in Los Angeles, there was an increased usage of Ebonics in schools, not as a subject of study, but as a means of learning English, of developing writing and reading skills. And it's the experience here. And I think in Oakland, in California, it has been the early 90s. It has been a big thing. Americans have rejected it, but it's the same. I think we can equate the same experience that we want our schools to have that inclusion. Include the other speakers or backgrounds in order to advance the less advantaged students into the curriculum. Yeah, so we have had experience here in the States with Ebonics. So Darija, however, is not codified in textbooks. Darija is spoken. We don't have textbooks. That's why, from my perspective, Darija will develop for sure. And we have, Latin was in Europe. That was the language. And then you have Spanish, French. Suddenly the French in, I don't know which century, said we have to preserve our identity. French is the official language. So they divorced themselves from the classical language. Why? Because always the standard language is looked as high, the official, always created that gap. The language of the elite, and whoever don't speak it is not part of the community. Same thing, if we continue teaching Arabic the same way as Latin was taught, we will end up the same. Morocco will have its own Arabic, and we're not going to understand or communicate with the rest of the Arabic-speaking world. So it's a threat that we are, as teachers and speakers, doing it to the language itself. We will come, and Darija will evolve over time. I don't know when. Will evolve and will become as an official language. It will become as the tool of communication and even for formal communication. Current pedagogical. Again, why this is important topic? Because starting this fall, last month, new textbooks have been released. And this is threat for me, how can you just throw a textbook and teachers haven't seen it? You just okay, take and teach. So it was a shock for the public. Why? First of all, you just released the book to a week before school starts. The interesting part, what these textbooks have introduced, because when I said the proposition to include Darija, for me was suspicious, fire and smoke. So the fire, something was cooking, and now we have seen it. Even though Darija is not considered as an official language, but it's integrated. It's put within, and you don't feel it, but it's part of it. I don't agree with a lot of people criticism why they are criticizing the textbooks. For example, they've used names of pastries and pancakes and stuff that are used in Darija. A lot of people say what's this mess? Why are you using these terms? This is dialect. I don't know to what extent can you consider as a pedagogically sound way of doing it, but people have criticized using names of cultural products. I don't have a problem with it. Language shouldn't be static. It should embrace the culture. And so we have this expression adopting some words from the dialect or just names of a cultural product. Here is a poem or a song. in French textbook, but they translate it into Darija. And people, for them, that song, it's just street song. It's just between friends. Doesn't necessarily need to be in the textbook. So people have criticized including the Darija in this. Another thing, so not language, but also cultural practices. They include the mother, this mama, or this is mama, or this is my mother. My mother loves to work in the field or to dig in the ground. Whereas the dad? Dad he likes to bake. So what people, provoked them is, okay, yeah, you want to tell us that, roles have to change. The mothers have to work in the field and dads work inside. So people have reacted to that. It's funny, but yeah, the reactions is about the content too, not only the language. What else? Yeah, here, I don't know how would you feel about it. This is a little girl. She's feeling hot. The weather was hot. It's hot. I'm gonna take off my short, and I feel so. She's wearing her underwear, but it's hot. She's taking her short, and then people have criticized. So we're teaching our kids, it's fine to take off your clothes and in public. So it has received criticism. Not only language, as I said. This is funny. I don't know to what extent it's pedagogically helpul, but you can express it in standard Arabic. It's fine. But they use an expression. Sakhan is to warm up your bones. Literally, it means when you go to the bath, you want to stretch, and you go to the sauna. I want to stretch my bones. So the expression is widely used in the dialect. And people are making fun and being critical about inclusion of Darija in these new textbooks. And surprise, a week after that, a lot of criticism. A week after that, these textbooks have been taken off from the shelves. Have been taken off. Even I missed it because when I was in Morocco and I came a week before they came out. So I requested from my family to send me, didn't find them. I told them, can you please go? Didn't find them in the book. So that tells you the way how these officials, how they prepare for educational matters or curriculum vision, it just messed up. Because these textbooks should have been out 6 a year. Let teachers have professional development workshops. Show them how this is changing, and let them give their perceptions, but no, I have this textbook, take it, teach it. In French too, this is a textbook, part of textbook in a private school, not the official one, but you see the expression here in English, the little God took a piece of paper, color pencils, and he painted the world. And think about it when you're talking about in Islam, you don't talk about even the prophets. Even Jesus, a Muslim, is not allowed to picture Jesus or to say something bad about him, let alone about God. And that's a lot of parents have demonstrated against these schools. It's a group of schools that they are using this textbook. So it's just a lot going on, linguistically speaking, even culturally. Like you bring in, if you are teaching the language, you bring in even that culture, the liberalist culture from France. So people have just reacted with it. So French, we've talked about Arabic, the challenges that Moroccan schools are facing with using standard or the dialects. French, it's maintained its role. It maintained its position. It's dominant. It's considered as the gatekeeper of intellectual and economic activity. And Arabic remained as incompatible with the very real economic needs of the nation. So this created a wide chasm and inherent disparity between those who are able to access secondary education in French and those who could continue in tertiary education. So French maintained its status as the key to higher education, social mobility, and economic opportunity, and advancement in Arabic. So now, the concerns, the discussions about Arabic, Amazigh, but always French is not outside of the discussion. It's not touched. It's just manipulating the scene, like politically and even linguistically. Morocco's, yes,
Start learning French
myself.
very early. Or?
The second slide, the next slide, I'm gonna respond to that one. So standard Arabic, this is the new vision of Morocco. It's starting now. The vision is standard Arabic would remain a compulsory language. Amazigh is introduced as language of communication. French would be offered starting in the first grade as of fall 2017. And you have a problem which language to teach, which form of Arabic to teach. And then French at the beginning, it's good. It's good that our schools is multilingual, reaching bilingual, if students are not bilingual, but they can add a foreign language. But again, you have an issue. You have an issue not only with language, but issue of teaching in general. Because the outcomes haven't been that great. And I don't know to what extent this approach or this vision will succeed. Because French would be offered here. And in my time, I studied in the third grade. It has been since independence, at third grade, French is introduced. Now is at the first grade. And can you imagine that you have two forms, standard Arabic and dialect, and then French? So you add in salt to injury, I think. English, which was previously, I have, when I studied English was in high school, the first year of high school, and will be introduced in the first year of junior high school, 3 years before. English would be offered even earlier, starting in the fourth grade. So this is Morocco's vision. Spanish will be offered starting high school as an option language. In high schools in Morocco, you have English. That's the second language presented at the first year of high school. In the north of Morocco, you have the option. Not English, we have Spanish. So a lot of kids learning in northern parts of Morocco, they learn Spanish as a second language. Not one, yeah, as a second language. So Spanish and German were optional in the past 10 years in select schools, while English was compulsory in all public schools. For the short term, French will replace Arabic as the medium of instruction, starting in high school. Second phase, these subjects will be taught in French. So back to the future. So French has been a medium of instruction for science subjects in the past. Now we're back to that one. So it means this declares failure of Arabization and failure of Arabic system.
So where is Darija as part of the strategic vision?
What is?
Where,
Darija.
what is the place now of Darija in the strategic vision?
Good question. There are the told stories and the untold stories. Darija, because it's not an official language, it's not part of the constitution. It does function, but it's not. Like here, what is the official language? No official language in the States, but English is the medium. In Morocco, the same. French is not the official language, but it is. See what I'm saying? So it's just playing with expression in the constitution. Okay, it's considered as language that help communicate with the francophone world. Just that, but in practice, it is the language that our education is based on. What is Darija? It's there, but we're not going to write it down. So you're not recognizing. Still, Morocco is not recognizing its diversity, its linguistic diversity. It's true, dialect, it's a dialect. It's not standardized form, but since it doesn't have that cultural push, social push from the public, why? Let's keep our language. When fire turns on, oh, okay, well, we have to recognize our diversity. The same happened with Amazigh. Nobody fought for Amazigh, and the monarchy didn't give a chance to Amazigh culture to to be part of the whole system. But when the Arab Spring came, the political and social movement has led to recognizing it. So it's not an outcome of social practice. It's an outcome from movement from the outside, outcome of the grassroots movement. So, where is Darija? It's not here, but it's part of the dish. It's cooking there. 2013 plan looks forward to high school graduates competent in Arabic, able to communicate fluently in Amazigh, and possessing mastery of at least 2 foreign languages. It's great vision. Bilingual or multilingualism, it's a plus. It's a tool that Moroccans can use, to communicate with the world. But again, without preserving what you have, you will be changing languages. Like now, the Francophone elites, they are worried. That's why there is a push for French, because they know that English is taken over. And if you take in with this process, English tomorrow will be in this plan. Closing remarks, questions about approaches and progress towards evidence-based curriculum and teaching, as well as preparation for the nation's teachers, continue. I talk to my friends who are teachers and professors. There isn't professional development for teachers. There isn't much. So can you imagine that you hire teachers to teach in high school and even junior high school, and didn't have training? They have training for 6 months or a year. But the training, if you think about it, it's just textbook. It's the same way of teaching language. There is no practical trainings that teach people to approach language from communicative perspective. Rather, just it's a grammar based. Spoon feed the others. You give the teachers, bring them and teach them, give them textbooks and go teach. And it's worse now. I'm not going to picture Morocco as a beautiful country. It's beautiful. That's good, but there is the issue. The issue is that now, before teachers being hired as tenured, when you are hired as a teacher, you are a teacher forever, and it's people, they just take advantage of that one. They don't have to work hard because that job is guaranteed for the rest of their life. Now, in order to make teachers work, it's contract based. It's 1 year contract. And 1 year, the training is only 1 month or 2 months. Only. And I have heard some experiences, it's 1 month training. And how do you want your plan, this vision, to succeed? So that's why I said, if you remember, I said about process and outcome. The outcome, whatever it is, the process matters most. That's what I'm concerned. The process, it's not that great. If languages will be taught in the same manner, and same as before the new reform, it's unlikely that learning outcomes will, and even the plan will succeed, this vision. So the entire approach towards teaching language must shift from grammar-oriented approach to a meaningful competencies-based approach. I'm going to end, bear with me, just end with this video.
Und das ist gegen Baumscheibe, ist hier jetzt Rockenschmerzen. Und das gegen Schnarchen. Und das ist gegen 8 rosa Gewicht. Und das ist zum Abnehmen, aber nicht hier oder hier. Noch Wind und Wasser. Das ist die. Und das will man hat Schnupfen und Kopfschmerzen, das ist die Bronchitis. Und das Rätselus. Jetzt ist Nachtqualität. In Deutschland haben wir Rätselus Öl. Ja. Und das Kamelle. Und das von Blutzirkulation. Und das gegen Exil-Psoriasis. Und das ist gegen Migräne. Und das ist Intranesfehler gegen Akne und Pickel. Und das ist Oregano. Und das ist Hinder. Und das ist Lorbeerblätter. Und das Rosmarin. Und wir haben hier Gewürz. Ja, willkommen zum Gucken.
Auch eine ganze Apotheke. Was kann man mehr? Jetzt wirst du auch gucken gehen. Alles davon?
Ja, natürlich. Bei uns sagt man es sehr teurer. Ja, viele Marokkaner. Sie arbeiten in Frankreich, in Belgien. Und dann kommen hier dann mit dem Safran. Warum Safran ist teurer?
steht und noch was. Weil es einfach nicht diffizil ist, vom Herz, Blutzirkulation und Antistress.
So last point to add. This video reflects a normal reality in Morocco. You know, Moroccans are very comfortable of using different languages. Actually, the diversity, linguistic diversity, it's a part of the fabric of Morocco. But you know, this guy, he was speaking German, and it's a spice and also herbs shop, and he's explaining the benefit for each spice in German. And I've shared it with my German friends. It's fluent German. Yes, he's a regular, just normal Moroccan. As I said, like it's Moroccans, you'll find these cases a lot. Like I met a taxi driver who didn't go even to high school. Junior high school was his furthest he studied. He spoke German, he spoke French, Italian, and English. And he was with the tourists, a group of tourists from Italy. They weren't commenting where they went. They were commenting about his fluency in Italian. They said like his Italian is just amazing. So as I said, you know, it's a part of Moroccans they are very comfortable with. But if our approach of teaching foreign languages and even Arabic remained the same, the outcome will be the same. We're not going to have a good quality, education quality. The dropouts of schools will continue, and there should be, you know, like deep change into the curriculum, to the vision, into through political, you know, work on the team that are working in education rather than the tools. Languages are tools. They are not our, you know, concern as language educators. Thank you. Sorry I took your time.